predictions. New year, new predictions. New year, new predictions. New year, new predictions. New year, new predictions. We're back. So it's 2024 and it's the Australian Open coming up in the next day or so when this video comes out. And it's time to go through the predictions. Now, we did this last year to some success, but mostly to a lot of failure because, let's be honest, tennis is impossible to predict. But it's 2024, so I'm going to be positive and I'm going to go with a new year and it's a new season. Everything starts at zero. And this is when I'm starting to get the predictions. I'm going to take it seriously this year around. And we start with this Australian Open. Let's get the first one. So I think Sinner's going to do better than Medvedev at this Australian Open. Medvedev has got a tricky draw, and the way Sinner ended last year, he's not giving me any reason not to predict that he's going to go well again to start this season. So I'm going to go with the Sinner to do better than Medi. So on the men's side, for the qualies, I'm going to go with Lloyd Harris. You know, he's been away from the tour a little bit with injury, and he has been really good on hard courts in the past. And I'm going to go with Volley Nets on the women's side for the best qualifier run. For the best country, it's so hard not to pick one of the big countries, and I'm going to go with America because I just think they've got so many contenders, not just players that can do well, but serious contenders to win the whole thing. So I've got to go with America to be the best country at the Australian Open 2024. When it comes to aces, I've got to go with the big hitters. Hurkacz on the men's side and Rybakina on the ladies. I just think that it's so easy to pick them, and I'm not going to go against them. Hurkacz hit 1,000 aces last year. And I feel like Rybakina, if she stays healthy, can get over 500 this year, which has only ever been done once. So I'm going to go with the two big servers. No surprise. This was a tricky one because Swiatek at the Australian Open last year was a struggle. Obviously, Sabalenka won the whole thing. Swiatek's draw sucks. Sabalenka's draw is pretty good. So I'm going to go with Sabalenka just because she's got a little less hurdles in her way to make it further than Swiatek this year. So for unseeded dangerous players or runs that are going to go maybe to the third, fourth round or beyond, I've got to go with Naomi Osaka. The fairy tale return, of course, won this tournament twice. And I'm going to go with Draper on the men's side. I just feel like he's due for a breakout. I know he did a really good run or a pretty good run at the US Open last year. So I'm going to go Draper and Osaka as the unseeded success stories of this year. Top 10 upsets. This is going to be an interesting one. I've got to go with Tsitsipas. That back problem, I feel like, is really going to hurt him in the end and possibly end in a retirement. I could see that happening early, but I'm going to go with him to lose early in the rounds. And I've got to go with Vondrousova. She's won like one match in her last 10. She has barely won, and she's still in the top 10, mainly because of Wimbledon, of course, winning that last year. So I'm going to go with Vondi, and I'm going to go with Steph to lose early this week. My dark horse predictions, and they're a little bit of personal favourites for mine. I'm going to go with Zhang to have a good run at the Australian Open this year. Of course, made the quarterfinals of the US last year. Almost made the top 10 as well at the end of the year. And I'm going to go with Dimitrov, the feel-good story of the last 6 months. You know, he's played so well. He finally won a tournament last week as well, getting his first trophy in 6 years. So I'm going to go with Dimitrov and Zhang as my dark horses this week. The big one too, I'm going to go with Djokovic. I mean, he's won this tournament 10 times. Alcaraz didn't play last year. He's unproven in Australia. I'm not saying that he can't get in, the final, but I feel like Djokovic, it's his home ground, and I reckon he's going to do better than Alcaraz this year. So my hot take for this tournament, I reckon we're going to have a lot of unexpected upsets. There are some crazy first rounds, and I know, Tsitsipas might not be a big upset because of, who he's playing. Vondrousova, like I said, I feel like they're like the easy upsets, but I feel like we're going to get some really crazy upsets. Maybe really unexpected ones that we maybe thought players that could win the tournament, losing in the first week. That's my hot take. So my semi-finals for the tournament, this is always the worst one because I just seem to get 1 out of 4 every time. On the top half of the draw for the ladies, I'm going to go with Swiatek, Rybakina, and on the bottom half, I'm going to go with Sabalenka and Osaka. I picked 3 of the top 4 players. I mean, go figure. And also Osaka's won it twice, so I'm picking really easy ones this time, and let's see what happens. On the men's side, I've got to go with Djokovic taking on Sinner. Again, a really obvious pick. And I'm going to go with Alcaraz versus Dimitrov. I'm going to back Dimi to make a semi-final. He's playing so well, I reckon he can get there as well. And for the champions of this tournament, if you watched my predictions video of last year, you already know the answer. And it's always the boring answer. I picked him every single tournament. Novak Djokovic. I think he's going to win the Australian Open. I think the women's side, it's going to be Rybakina. I reckon she gets one better this year. She looks so good so far this year. And that bagel against Sabalenka in Brisbane, that was not nothing. So I reckon it's going to be Rybakina and Djokovic this year winning the Australian Open. But let me know down in the comments below, what are your predictions for this event? I always love to see what you guys think. Disagree with me. If you don't like any of my picks, tell me. I'll read them. I don't know. Be nice, but tell me if you don't like my predictions. It's fine. I can take it.